everyone, it's Anne Manera, and we are beginning our new Color Along Variety Coloring Book Volume 19. I am so excited about this. I cannot believe that there are 19 volumes of this book. This is amazing. So today's Color Along, we are working on the technique called Pointillism. So let's take a look at our very first page. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a flip. And I'm going to be using Crayola Supertips. And I've got these Bic intensity markers. And we're going to get started with coloring this page in the Pointillism technique. I do have a piece of cardstock behind my page because these are going to bleed through and we don't want that to happen. And I'm just going to get started because this is a busy page. So we have a lot happening here. I just want to test my color here. I don't like that one. And let's talk about first of all, let's talk about Pointillism. I'm going to start with my roses. I'm sorry, tulips. I was thinking. I'm going to color these. So Pointillism. So Pointillism is all about using dots to create a new color or to create some sort of shading. So for example, the closer the dots are, then the darker the color would look. So if you were to color something that had blues, for example, you could put a blue color down and you could put dots really closer together, and then that would make it look like it's a dark blue. But if the dots are further apart, then the blue is going to look lighter. The same thing happens when you want to mix colors. So for example, yellow and blue make green. So if you want to put yellow and green dots close together, it's going to look like green. If you're going to put them further apart, it's going to look like a lighter green. So that's what it's all about. I don't know why I'm thinking hokey pokey. You were too, right? So for this page, oh, do you ever wonder where your head goes sometimes? Okay, so for this page, I am coloring the tulips in this color, in these solid colors. Now, you can either color an area with a solid color like this, and then go back and add dots on top of it, or you can leave it uncolored and only color it with the dots. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? So for example, let's see. Let's start out with these leaves. So I'm using this dark green color, and I am going to just use green with very close dots. I'm going to put them in close proximity to one another. And then as I go up, and that's at the bottom of this leaf from this tulip. And then as I go up to the top of the tip of the leaf, I am going further apart. You know, Pointillism is a fine art term, and you can investigate some different fine artists that are considered pointillist artists. And it's kind of a spin-off of Impressionism, because Impressionism is all about, in painting anyway, Impressionism is all about using distance to be able to see what's actually painted. So you want to, if we were to look at a painting by Van Gogh, for example, who's an Impressionist painting, and you were going to look at it up close, it would look like, you wouldn't really understand what it was. But if you step back maybe 5 to 8 feet, and then you look, then you'll be able to kind of see that those colors blend together. Same type of thing with Pointillism, that you want to kind of step back. So the closer you are to it, it's not going to really look like it's supposed to. It's really meant to be viewed from a distance. So now you can see that I put this green here, right? Now I'm going to put this solid color green, excuse me, for the stem. Oh my goodness, I thought I was going to get the hiccups. Keep getting the hiccups lately. Again, another stem here that I'm going to use a solid color because I want to have this page have some contrast. I don't want it to be all dots. I want the dots to kind of be decorative in a way. And sometimes people use dots in a decorative sense. So you could use dots when you're coloring, and it would be called the stippling technique, where it was kind of like speckled all over the place, right? Pointillism is different. Pointillism is all about the color becoming either darker or lighter based on the proximity of the dots, or the color changes based on the colors that are used together or the proximity of those two colors. The other thing you could do is you could use dots to make it more decorative. So you could actually add some different dots. Like say I was going to add dots in the middle of all of these circles here. That would not be pointillism. That would be more of like an accent or a decorative type thing. I hope this makes sense. Now we've got these blades of grass here. Let me know in the comments if you've ever colored using this technique. I think it's one of my favorites. You know, and this page can also be found in my book, A Bug's View. And I remember when I drew that book. I drew a lot of that book. I drew this page live, I think, on Facebook in the midst of a live video. This is actually on the cover of A Bug's View. And I'll put a link to A Bug's View and a link to the video that you can watch for a flip through of A Bug's View. But this is a fun book. And this book is all about what the world looks like from the point of view of a bug. So I remember when I was drawing this book, I decided that, you know, how would a bug actually see these blades of grass? So I sat on the ground in the backyard. Yes, I sat on the ground and I said, okay, bugs, show me what your world looks like. And that's how I researched this book. I guess it was research. I'll call it research. Other people would call it crazy person behavior, but I'll call it research. It was my research. I have a few books that are in the View series, and they're all about what the world looks like from that, like what they're viewing. Like my dog Scarlet, for example, has a book, her own book called Scarlet's View, and it's everything that she sees when she looks out the window, in her imagination, of course. I also have a flower's view, a dog's view, what a dog sees. What other view books do I have? You guys know them more than me. Flowers, a fairy's view. Ooh, a fairy's view. Maybe I need to do another view book. Let me know in the comments if you have colored any pages from any of my View series books. Now see, I'm going further apart here because I want this grass, that blade of grass, to be lighter. And I'm just using the same method, I guess, on all of these blades of grass because I just want them to be close together. I want the green to be close together at the bottom. I want the bottom part of the blade of grass to be darker in color with green. And now I'm going to go further up, further apart, again here. Now, this is kind of like the corner. See this little section down here? I'm going to go closer, closer, closer. You know, in one of my coloring handbooks, you can actually get take a look at more information about pointillism, and I'll pop up. Actually, let me see if I can find the page for you while we're here. I wasn't really prepared, was I? Let's see if I can find it. I don't think it's in the third volume. I think it's in the first volume, actually. I have 3 volumes of this book. Are you familiar with these books? Pointillism, there it is. Let's see. Are you familiar with these coloring handbooks? I created these 3 volumes here. Basically spin-offs of everything that I do during color-alongs. I should look at the table of contents now, shouldn't I? Well, that would be extremely organized, page 34. And I'll put a link in the comments to this book that's on Amazon. All right, let's see here. All right. So these 2 pages here in my Coloring Handbook Volume 1 will give you a sum up and a summary and teach you kind of a little snippet about what pointillism is all about. And like I said about viewing it from approximately 5 feet, same rule applied to pointillism paintings. We talked about that with Impressionism. And you can use a variety of different mediums with this. You can use gel pens, crayons, markers. You could use colored pencils, but I just don't think they work as well. And you can also create a shading or different shading. So if you look at this example here with this butterfly, in the middle of the wing, it looks darker. That's because I used this color magenta closer together than I did use it on the edge of the wing. So that's the same type of technique we're using here with the leaves for this and the blades of grass. So this book has a description here, it has some links here to learn more about pointillism and to learn more about a couple of different artists, Surratt and Signac, that are two of the most famous pointillism artists out there. And Then there's a worksheet here so you can kind of practice what's happening. You can make various shades of orange using yellow and red dots, for example, or shades of green. So this has a nice little worksheet about pointillism. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the comments. A link in the description, I'm sorry, in the description of the video. But let me know if you have colored with this, used this technique. What do you think about it? Is this too much? Is it just like, what am I doing? This is, I mean, I guess it could be soothing, right? Tap, 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 tap. I don't count them. But it is nice when you use it as a technique where you are not covering the entire page, you know? So that you're mixing it up, and you're adding some solid colors like I did here with these tulips. All right, so now, speaking of solid colors, I am going to now add a blue color behind all of this right here. Let's make sure we can get a good blue color, okay? Because I really think that it will look a lot better with this blue behind all of this. And I mean, what about this technique too? If you kind of do a line here on the inside of the black line, not on top of it, that would be something totally different, and then color within that area, I think it's like magic happens and the marker doesn't go past those lines, so it's easier to stay in the lines. I don't know. Is it in my head? Is it a psychological thing that's happening? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Is it a psychological thing where you think that, oh, there's the edge and I can't go past it? Or is it really like a scientific thing where the ink is truly not going past the other section of ink? I don't know. That is interesting, isn't it? So these color alongs will continue to meet every Monday and Thursday. So every Monday and Thursday, right here on my YouTube channel, a new color along will be posted by 10 a.m. Eastern time for you to color along, follow along, pre-recorded video, and then different techniques. Free to watch, right? So what's better than free? If you'd like to color with what I'm coloring, in the book that I'm coloring, then you can get this book on Amazon. There's a link in the description of this video to get the color along book on Amazon. And if you're interested in a book you can print yourself, a PDF version, I also have a link to that on my website. Okay, so there's my blue background, right? Now, again, we talk about sometimes leaving areas white, and I don't know. What do you think about that? Some people don't like it. Some people think, oh, not a good idea. I like it sometimes. I'm going to add this purple color here, and I'm going to leave these inside colors with white because I want that to just kind of pop. Now, you could use pointillism where you go on top of these colors also. So maybe we'll do that too. We'll have to add that technique as we move along here. This is just a lilac color. I really love a Crayola Supertip. It's a non-toxic product. It doesn't smell. Cannot stand the smell of a product that is, I don't know, just too much odor. I can't use a Sharpie. For those of you that have been following my color alongs for a long time, forever, you will know that. All right, now I'm going to use this red color, this brick color. And for this color, I'm going to just kind of give it some pointillism area here and then color inside these little dots with a solid color of the same color. Now this one I'm going to do kind of like the same spacing throughout the whole little area. I also am not making a pattern. That's the other thing that happens too, is that it's not about making a pattern. I mean, you could, but that would not be the pointillism technique. You don't want to make like all your dots in a row. So there's that little section there. This has nothing, right? I don't know. I think maybe my hand hurts after a while. It's like a little kid. I can't really do that anymore because my hand hurts. All right, so this is all the same brick color. Now I wanted to let that light purple area dry there, and I'm going to take this dark purple here. And now I am going to just kind of add this darker purple on top of this, just like we did the leaves and the blades of grass. And now I'm going to just kind of go further apart. Further apart. See how I did that right there? So in the corner or in the bottom part, in the corner, close together, then as we move, further apart. Then as we move, further apart. Just moving along. Okay, so as we move along, just further apart here. Closer together and then further apart. So it becomes kind of decorative, right? It becomes a little bit, I mean, we could go back onto these and add them, but I'm going to leave those solid. I want those to kind of be, I don't know, the prominent area of the page, I guess. That type of thing. Now we've got these kind of divider lines here, and I always like to color those with the same color all the time so that it becomes, they kind of stand out. So I'm actually going to use some of these Bic Intensify colors, and I'm going to use this these half circles here with this pink. These are really nice, actually. It's called Bic Intensity. They're nice to just kind of like take notes. I have a purple one that's always on my desk that I don't have in here because I use it to just write with. Isn't it fun to write with a fun color pen? I think purple seems to always be my color that I want to go to. My go-to color. All right, I'm going to take this light green color and do this section here. This little divider line here. I usually do these divider lines all the same color, but I don't know. I may venture outside of my comfort zone today and maybe do them a different color. I don't know. What do you think? Let's do them a different color. All right, I'm going to use this blue color for the next one. And I don't know why I started at the bottom, but I always start at the bottom of a page and color my way up. Isn't that weird? I think it's when I draw them, I do the same thing. I start at the bottom and draw my way up. I do the same thing with paintings. I was noticing that the other day about myself. I start at the bottom and work my way up. What do? Do you start at the bottom of your coloring page and then work your way down? Or do you go from the bottom and work your way up? Here's orange. Just gonna give this a quick little pivot here. Okay, now we've got this whole area here, and I really want to see what's happening with this yellow color. All right, so we've already got this yellow color in. No, that was a different one. Okay, this was yellow. It's kind of like an orangey yellow, actually. But now I'm going to color this area because I really like the contrast there with that pink. And I'm going over these little tiny circles, these little holes, because I can go back over those with another color. I don't have to worry about that. All right, now let's take this crazy blue color here, which is a darker blue, and I'm going to just go with this darker blue all in this area here above the yellow. It's a good contrast between the blue and the yellow. And I'm not using a pattern. Again, not using a pattern. Okay, so that's my area right there. Now, let's take some red. Give it a little bit of a twist there. Add a red Bic intensity. It's kind of an orangey red, isn't it? A little bit. And then I'm going to go back in to this area here and pop some red inside these circles. Okay? Now, we are moving along, right? Moving along. Let's see about adding some green to the next line right here. Now, you're thinking, holy moly, right? What about that section? I don't know. I don't plan my pages out. Do you plan out what you're going to color ahead of time? I don't. I just I'm winging it. I'm winging it during a color along. I'm winging it during this video. I just don't know what's going to happen. I like this kind of funky brown color right here. So let's see what happens if we do every other. And we'll see how it goes. All right, so I've got this every other brown happening here. Gotta concentrate. I'm afraid if I start talking too much, I might get them in the wrong spot. Oh, see, just like I did that. Pretend that didn't happen. All right, I'm just gonna be quiet now for the rest of this little section. Okay. Whew. My goodness, that was pressure. Okay. I'm just going to leave them all like that. I'm not going to do anything else to them. Now for this section here, I'm going to add close proximity of dots with this turquoise and then lighten up. Now, I want to make it so that different areas or different sections. So for this one, I started with this bottom, so I want them to look like they're rolling. Does that make sense? So we've got the bottom with dark color, with closer proximity of dots. Then it kind of twists a little bit, then it rolls over. So now this one is going to kind of like roll over even more. So these look like rolling stones. And it'll create some sort of a rhythm. Rhythm is all about the motion in the page, whether it's motion that is happening such as like something like this, or it makes your eye move around. So for example, your eye can move from here to here because we've got those reds, or it can move with textures. So a lot of different elements can be applied when you're working on a coloring page. It's not just about, people think that it's a kid thing, right? It's not a kid thing anymore. You can apply different things. And you're probably doing all of these things without even realizing it. And you're probably saying, that felt good, it looked good, and that's why you left it there. So it's really all about doing what is happening from your gut, you know? I'm going to leave the background of that white. Now we're going to move on to this divider line, and I'm going to use this light green color again to bring my eye up from here to here. Give it a little bit of a pivot. There we go. Now, it's kind of like a fence up there at the top. So, what color should we use? Well, we want to bring some more color in, right? We want to kind of let our eye come up. So we've got this brick color back here. So let's go with this brick color here on my verticals. Actually, let's go with the horizontals too. And we'll leave it white behind there. Now, I'm going to take another look after I finish this section and see what other area I can actually fill in, or maybe add something too. And I am looking at this at these blades of grass, and I'm going to take this light green color and I'm going to add some of this light green color to these leaves and the blades of grass. So you can kind of see it a little bit, but not really. But you know, I know it's there. And I think that if you look at it from a distance, eventually this would look like a lighter green, as all of these greens are together, the multiple colors. And it sounded like something fell just now. That was Paisley throwing her body on the floor. I don't know why my dogs choose to lay down on the hard floor, by the way. They have comfortable places to lay down. They could get on the couch. They could lay on the dog bed. But no. Hard floor. Do you have pets that do that? I'm thinking that somebody's going to comment that they have, like, you know, a cow that lives in their house, and the cow likes to lay on the hard floor. Oh my, where have I gone? Okay, so, Pointillism. Check it out. Hope you can follow along with this technique. Just wanted to let you know that you could, or ask you nicely, if you could possibly subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be awesome. Hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like. And don't forget to hit that bell, ding ding, so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Join me every Monday and Thursday until October 13th as we work on this book. A new color along will post each week, or twice a week actually. The schedule is here. I will the schedule is also listed on my website on annemanera.com. And our next color along after this is the burnishing technique this upcoming Thursday. And then next Monday we'll be moving on to coloring with coffee and tea. So brew yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and it doesn't make a difference whether it's herbal tea or caffeinated tea or black tea, or just doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference the brand of coffee. It could be instant. It could be something you do in your coffee maker. And we're going to be coloring with coffee and tea. You'll need a paintbrush for that also. So, hope this was enjoyable. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone, and always taking time out of your day. I will see everyone soon. Have a great day.